Myself Dr. Preeti Bala, and today I'm going to teach you the software development life cycle. Software development life cycle is basically the SDLC, a framework that describes the activities performed at each stages of a software development project. Look at that, what are the waterfall model and what are the stages. When we talk about the SDLC, there is a predefined steps. We have to follow those steps to develop a software. So when we talk about the waterfall model is somehow it has been introduced by the Barry Boehm in 1970s, and waterfall model is basically also known as a sequential model. When we talk about the waterfall model has some stages, and that stages are the 7 stages. Okay, and we have to follow those stages when we develop a software. So look at the first stage, which is the requirement. Before the requirement, in requirement there is 2 stages. We can segregate the requirement in 2 stages. One which is the planning, and the other one that is the requirement. If we look at the planning is what exactly? Planning, it means like we want to develop a software, and some clients are approaching us. So the from the client perspective as well as from the developer perspective, from the company perspective, they are developing the software. They both have a mutual understanding, and they are in a planning stage. They are doing some feasibility study. Feasibility study means that the most important feasibility study, which is the economic feasibility study, then the technical feasibility study, then the operational feasibility study. These are the basically different feasibility study. And if we look at the economical feasibility study, the economical feasibility study is a basically that what what budget has been proposed by the client, and when you did the tentative study that if I am developing such a software, then how much budget will take. So these are the basically tentative study that we do, and in a planning stage, and this is known as the economic feasibility. When we talk about the technical feasibility, it means we check the hardware and software requirement both, that those requirement are as per the client requirement, we have or not. So as a developer we check this. And when we talk about the operational feasibility, if we are for end user to whom we are developing the software, and we will do the tentative study that if we are implementing the software, that whether user are technical or they are not non-technocrats. So these are basically some feasibility study that I'm discussing over here. And behavior feasibility also one of the major issue that we are concerned. It means that when we are going to be implement a new software in our organization, there are some sort of people, they are not ready for to give up the legacy software. They are not ready, and they are not ready to adopt the new software and new system. So in this condition, what exactly happen in this condition? This happen that we need to convince them that your job, you should not be at a fear stage. Your job is secure. If you are implementing the new software and new system, definitely we will give you some training and whatever. So there is some counseling session. We have to just arrange those counseling session, and accordingly we have to convince those people, because they are the most important asset of our organization. So if we are implementing the new systems, so we are not going to be lay off them. So this is also a behavior feasibility. Sometimes the employees, end user, they whom they have to use that software or system, they are not ready, they are very rigid. So these are the feasibility study that we do. Once we do the feasibility study, we go the second stage, which is the requirement. When we talk about the requirement, what exactly the requirement, where we gather the information with the different sources. There may be the on-site observation, there may be the questionnaire session, there may be the we are taking the interview of the consumers as well as the management. So there is a different kind of, once we decided, we did the feasibility study, we decided yes, we will develop this particular software for this particular client. So after this, our main task is started, the most important task, which is also known as the analysis. Here what we exactly we do, we gather the requirements of our client to whom we have to develop a software, what exactly their requirement. If we don't know the requirement of the our client, then we cannot develop the software. Once you gather the requirement, after gathering the requirement, you will go in the next stage, which is the design. Design is what exactly where we develop the SRS document, which is the software requirement specification. What exactly the software requirement specification? If we look at the software requirement specification, is the complete documentation where we are writing things, we are trying to written each and everything that in which behavior we are going to be develop a software. So it the complete description to how we are going to be develop a software. What is the process modeling, what is the data modeling. We also encapsulate in the modules the software requirement, the hardware requirement, the technical things, the non-technical things, everything we are just writing in this document. Okay, and after designing we go the next phase, which is the coding. Coding means, because we have written in the design in SRS document, it's the blueprint. We written the algorithm, we written the logic, each and everything whatever we wanted, we did it. And then technically what happened, we did our 60%, even 60% testing and designing phase. Once you did it, then you will go with the coding. Now you have all the documents are ready, and you have to, what you have to do, you have to just implement the thing. So once you did the coding, after coding you need to review the code, you need to inspect the code, inspection of a code, and which process is called the testing. Testing, it means we cannot say that our software is 100% bug free, but we tried and we try to make it 100% error free. So testing is there is a basically majorly two kind of testing, which is the white box and black box testing. So testing, we are just reviewing the code that where we did the mistake, and there may be the multiple kind of errors and multiple, there is a more than 150 type of testing, and we are selecting that which test we have to apply in our software. And after doing this, we will go in the installation, that is also known as the implementation phase. And that implementation, once you did with the testing and everything, then you will go for the implementation phase. And there may be the parallel implementation, there may be the pilot implementation. So you have to decide that which will suit you to how to implement the particular software in a particular organization. Once you did it, then you will go in the maintenance phase, which is the most important phase also, where you will try to give the updates of the software, that particular software, that what exactly it is and how you make the changes. If might be the client or the end user, they require some technical session, they require some training, so accordingly you have to do it. Once you did it, then you will go with the once you did it, it means that you have completed all the phases. These phases are very important, and we look at the waterfall strength. The waterfall model, there is a, in SDLC phases, there is a basically particularly there is a different kind of models, and waterfall model is the heartbeat of the to develop a software. So when we talk about the waterfall model is a most basic model, and that has been introduced by the Barry Boehm. So what exactly we do, we are trying to find out that what waterfall model says, and we can get the basic idea that how to develop a software. And software engineering itself, what software engineering itself is, that is a software process where you are a series of steps, series of actions that you are doing to develop a software, and you are encapsulating the engineering process with it. So this is there is a different kind of modeling, which is the spiral model, there is a agile model, there is a iterative waterfall model, but the heartbeat, and you can say that the base model of to develop a software, which is the waterfall model. SDLCs, which is basically the software development life cycle, and software development life cycle, we have the different models. It's our approach that which model we want to apply, we want to adapt to develop a software. So here we need to look at the waterfall model strength. The waterfall model strength is easy to understand, easy to use, provides structure to inexperienced staff, milestone are well understood, sets requirement stability, good for management control, and works well when the quality is more important than cost or schedule. Then come to the waterfall deficiencies. If we know that if we talk about the any model, there is a multiple models are over here, and when we talk about the multiple models, and might be some models have a some deficiency, some model have some strong evidences, some weak evidences as well. There is a some black and white shades. So when we talk about the waterfall deficiencies, there is a all requirement must be known upfront, because the most, if you look at the deficiency of the waterfall model, that what exactly, like if I go back with this slide, you cannot go back. You cannot go back with waterfall model. Once you develop the software, it should be, once you start the processing, you have to develop complete software, and the whole software you will develop, then you can deliver the software to your client. There is a no interaction in between the client and the developer, so developing team. So the major issue is this: it might be that sometimes the client has a some new requirements come in their mind, and they always want continuous update, that what update is going on with their product. So this is the biggest drawback in the 21st century of waterfall model. But initially we had this, but we did some improvement with waterfall model. If we look at the iterative waterfall model, what exactly it does, it has a verification and validation process. So with each and every phase you can do the verification and validation as well. So this is the biggest drawback which I will say, that the waterfall model. And then the second one, which is the deliver created for the each phase is considered frozen. Now it's flexibility. It means it's not a flexible, it's a very rigid model, and can give a false impression of progress, because sometimes the client thinks that they're not developing the because you are not getting the continuous update. You don't have any sample, you don't have any updates about the software. So in this condition, that can be. And then the iteration of the phases, that cannot be possible with a waterfall model. And if you are doing, sometimes what happens, might be you have developed the product, like you develop this mouse, and once you deliver the mouse, and then client has started the saying that this mouse is not up to the mark, what requirements I have given, that requirements is not meet with this product. So what will happen in a software project, it generally increases the 40% of the project cost, and that matters a lot for any company. So it was the big issue for the survival. Then integration is one big bang at the end, and the little opportunity for customer to preview the system, which is the very important deficiency that you may say. So this is all about the waterfall model. Thank you so much. And this the when to use the second one, the question arises when we use the waterfall model. When we select the water, requirements are very well known, product definition is stable, when technology is understood, you know that on which technology, new version of an existing product. It means you have some product and you want to make that product much improvement, and some update you wanted to do it. And then porting an existing product to a new platform. So it might be that you have some legacy software and you wanted to make changes with some sort of module. So that is known as the waterfall model, when we choose the waterfall model and when we use the waterfall model.